There have been so many makeup products announced over the last few days. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it kind of makes sense because a lot of these brands are sold at Sephora and a lot of products tend to drop on the same day. And I feel like there used to be so much time between when a product was announced and when it was actually launched. But now a lot of brands announce products like a day or two before they actually go live. So let's chat about them. I have a lot that I'm planning on trying out, some that I'm so excited about, some that I think look interesting, but they're not for me. So we'll just sit down and chat about all of them. Okay, so let's get into it. There have been an influx of liquid bronzers. We are seeing them left and right. Just this week alone, I feel like I saw 3 different pictures. Which brand should we start with? Let's start with Saie. So I finally tried the Saie liquid blush. It reminds me a little bit of like the Rare Beauty liquid blush in that it's super easy to blend out, but the textures are a lot different. The Saie one has a really beautiful, dewy, glowy finish, but it's not over the top. I think in the back of my mind, I thought it was going to be like a super wet looking blush, and maybe if you really layer it up, it could look like that, but it actually just looked really natural and luminous and pretty on the skin. And I found that it stayed in place really well. So I'm enjoying that a lot. The color I have, I feel like is perfect for summer. Anyway, Saie launched a liquid bronzer. It retails for $25. There are 6 shades. So I feel like it's a good start. I do feel like there could be a little bit more variation within the shade range. Also, maybe some deeper shades. The 2 lightest shades look very, very similar in this photo, but I think one has like a warmer undertone, one has a cooler undertone. And then the 2 deeper shades look pretty similar too. So I don't know. I feel like because it is like a sheer formula, it would have been nice to see a little bit of a larger shade range or more variation within it. They do describe it as a lightweight buildable liquid cream, and they say it has a dewy, soft focus finish, which I do find to be the case for the blush. I actually didn't like their cream bronzer, which is pretty popular. I just did a video on like overhyped makeup products at Sephora. If you want to check it out, I'll link it below, and I mentioned that one. It just looked a little bit patchy, kind of muddy on my skin, but after trying their liquid blush, I feel like I'm more curious to try their liquid bronzer. If I didn't try the liquid blush, I'd probably skip over the liquid bronzer, but the liquid is a really nice formula. So I don't know, if I do end up buying one of the liquid bronzers, this is probably the one that I personally would go with, just because it does sound like a formula I would like, especially for everyday wear. Makeup by Mario is actually launching a bronzing serum as well. Makeup by Mario has so many different bronzer options. I feel like he has a lot. He has the bronzer stick, which I love. That's one of my favorite formulas. He has like that Softsculpt shaping bronzer, which is basically like a very light cream that looks really natural on the skin. And then he has a powder bronzer too. So now he's adding a 4th bronzer to the lineup. And this is the Softsculpt Multi-Use Bronzing and Shaping Serum. There are 7 different shades. This retails for $36 each. So based on this photo, it does look like there is more variation between the 7 shades compared to Saie. I don't know exactly if this is going to be a sheer formula. I'll read more about it. Because it's marketed as like a serum, I'm assuming it's going to be kind of sheer, but I also assume maybe they're saying you can use it to like mix in with your foundation or use it as like an all-over face product. Let's read the description. So it's a multi-use liquid bronzer that warms the complexion with a sun-kissed glow, and then you can use it to softly shape targeted areas. It has a sheer, natural second skin finish. Honestly, Makeup by Mario's formulas are really, really beautiful. Like, even if a product isn't for me personally, I can definitely understand why people might still enjoy them. I feel like if I could swatch these formulas, I would know for sure which one I want to buy, but just based on like the initial descriptions, the Saie one sounds a little bit more appealing to me. So if I was to purchase one today, that's the one I would go with. The last one is just automatically a skip for me. It's from Caliray. It's the Sundrip Luminous Liquid Bronzer. It retails for $28. They're calling it a liquid bronzer, but I feel like based on the description, it's more so like an all-over face luminizer, maybe kind of similar to like the Glow Recipe Hue Drops, which are the same as their Dew Drops, but it has like a tint of bronze to it. I feel like that's maybe the direction they should have gone with as far as the name, because it's a little bit confusing. Since they're calling it a liquid bronzer, one shade is obviously not sufficient if that's how they want people to use it. I feel like the reason I'm not convinced it's like a typical liquid bronzer is because they say it's a serum, or they say it's a liquid bronzer that acts like a serum, and it has skincare benefits like peptides, antioxidants, hyaluronic acid. It's supposed to hydrate, blur, firm the skin. And I feel like a lot of other liquid bronzers don't really claim to do a lot of that because you're mainly just using it in the areas where you would bronze the skin rather than all over. The other reason why I'm not super into this one is because they say it's shimmery, but they say the shimmer goes away as you blend it into the skin. But I don't really love like a super shimmery liquid product. So for me, it's definitely a skip. I just think there are other alternatives out there that I'd rather go with, but I did want to mention it in case you are interested in trying it. Okay, we have to talk about the new Natasha Denona Golden Collection. So I think over the weekend, or maybe it was like Monday, I actually ordered the palette because it went live on Natasha Denona's website. I got a message on Instagram that there was a new palette available. I saw it, I instantly ordered it, which I don't normally do, but I just knew that I would love the palette, the color story, everything about it. But then my order got canceled, and I heard from some of you that your orders got canceled too. So I'm assuming the palette and the collection wasn't supposed to actually be available. I figured because you could actually buy it was fine to order it, but there was no like official announcement. There were no photos on Instagram or anything like that. I don't know what it is with Natasha Denona. I kind of refuse to believe that they just have such bad luck that all of their palettes end up leaking. Every single palette they launch ends up leaking ahead of time. So maybe they have someone within their company that's just like out to get them. I am inclined to believe it's a little bit of a marketing strategy to kind of get people talking about it and create buzz around the new launch before it's officially announced. But I don't know, maybe they just need to work on like security within their own company. So either way, this is coming. It's the Golden Collection. There's an eyeshadow palette for $69, a cheek trio for $55, and a gloss for $29. Personally, I'm not really interested in the cheek trio or the gloss, only because I don't think I would get enough use out of the 3 cheek shades to justify having it in my collection. They look beautiful just based on that one photo I've seen, but I just personally don't need it. And then as far as the lip gloss goes, I do have Fenty's Lemon Lava, which is like a clear with gold in it. And again, I feel like it would probably be kind of similar to this. And I don't even wear that one that much, so I just know that I don't need the gloss. But the eyeshadow palette, that I am definitely interested in. Natasha Denona just makes my favorite eyeshadow palettes. She really does. I Need a Nude has quickly made it to the very top of my list. I just filmed a video on all of my favorite palettes. If you want to check it out, I'll link it below. And obviously this one is different. It's very golden toned. It's a little bit more warm toned, but I feel like these are the other types of tones that I tend to wear a lot. So a lot of people are saying this has a ton of repeat shades from the gold palette. I think like 9 or 10, which is a lot because it is a 15 pan palette. I actually don't have the gold palette. I never tried that one. I thought about trying it so many times because that was available when eyeshadow palettes were super big, and I was kind of in like my collector's phase where I wanted like every single palette launched. And that one was pretty because it did have golds and browns, but it also had like a couple of teal shades as well. But I believe it was one of her full-size palettes, like her $129 palettes. And I actually didn't get into Natasha Denona until she started doing like her mid-sized palettes and then her minis as well. I think one of the first palettes I tried was a mini. So I never ended up buying any of her full-size palettes. Actually, I do have Biba, but my husband got that for me for Christmas one year, and he did get it on sale, and I still feel like it was too much to spend on a palette. So I'm glad that she's kind of moved in the direction of like mid-sized palettes because it just makes more sense. I feel like there will be people who do like full comparisons between the two in case you are someone who has the older one as well. Because I didn't have that one, this one definitely appeals to me. I love golden eyeshadow so much, especially during the fall and the holiday season. It kind of reminds me of Urban Decay's Naked Honey a little bit, which I do still have, and I use that one every single fall, every single holiday season, but I do like Natasha Denona's formula a little bit better. There are a couple of other palettes that I feel like it's similar to. I think ColourPop has like a golden palette as well. I don't know if it's still available, but I did have that one, and I feel like that one could be pretty close. Actually, I think ColourPop has a newer golden palette as well. That one might lean a little bit more like orangey rather than gold toned, but I'm pretty sure it's called Golden Hour. Some of you have left comments on my video saying that you really love that one. Oh, I feel like that one could be a really good alternative, but again, it does have some of those like orangey or super warm toned browns. So I am curious to watch some comparisons, but truthfully, I do plan on picking this up just because I feel like I'll be able to get a lot of use out of it. I also feel like it will pair so well with the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. Oh, or the Natasha Denona Zendo, which is one of my favorites. Not the Zendo palette. I actually did not like the Zendo palette, the Yucca palette, which is one of my favorites. Maybe that's why she didn't include those teal shades, because this does have like some golden tones, some greens, but this with the new gold palette together, that would be so beautiful. So personally, I'm excited about it. I think this actually came out right after I uploaded my last purchase or pass video, like the day of or the day after. But Natasha Denona also launched a powder foundation. This is the HY-GLAM powder foundation. When I initially saw it, I was like one step closer to the HY-GLAM foundation because I want the HY-GLAM foundation so much. It has to be right around the corner. The concealer is my favorite, and I just feel like a foundation version of that is going to be my dream foundation. I am hyping that up so much in my mind that when she finally launches it, I hope it can live up to what I'm expecting, but I know it has to be coming. Anyway, there is a powder foundation available. It comes in 36 shades. They're $55 each. That's an expensive powder foundation. To be honest, high-end powder foundations don't appeal to me because my favorites are the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation and the Essence Cover and Last. And both of those are like 10, well, no, the Essence one I think is like 6. The e.l.f. one might be like 10 or 12. I like the Essence one better than e.l.f. these days, so that's what I typically use. It just looks so smooth and even on the skin. It's very soft and silky. It never looks dry or heavy or cakey. So I just haven't had a lot of interest in trying a higher end powder foundation. And I haven't even watched any reviews on it because I don't want to get talked into buying it because I just can't fall in love with a $55 powder foundation when there's a $6 option I love. That being said, I will be trying the HY-GLAM liquid foundation when it finally launches one day. Okay, let's chat about some lip products. A little bit of a random collab, but two brands I love, Tower 28 and OUAI, came together to do a St. Bart's lip jelly. I actually don't know what the St. Bart's scent from OUAI smells like. Is that a newer launch? Let's look up the notes. It has notes of dragon fruit, orange blossom, tuberose, and Baltic amber. Ooh, that actually sounds really nice. I do love like a good citrusy, orangey scent during the summertime, so I might have to go and see if I can smell that in person. But anyway, apparently there is like a new Tower 28 lip jelly that has the same scent. I was reading about this online because Tower 28 doesn't add fragrance to their products because they kind of market their products to people who are a little bit more sensitive. And I like that because so many products do come very heavily fragranced. So this was created with food grade flavoring. So just so you know, if you are interested in trying this, but you weren't so sure about like a super fragrance lip product. It will still have a scent, but it's not like they injected the lip gloss with perfume or anything like that. Apparently it's already out of stock on Sephora's website, so I guess people loved the idea of this. I'm not sure if it's going to come back in stock, but it is on sale, or you can get it on Tower 28's website or the OUAI website. It's just a clear gloss. I do have the clear lip jelly, and it's fine. I usually prefer for my lip glosses or lip oils to have like a hint of color, so I don't wear that one quite as much. I don't know, I feel like adding something to it to kind of differentiate it from the regular lip jelly would have been fun. Maybe like a little bit of like a golden glow. I know they have some that have like gold shimmer, but just something like a little more summery. Okay, the next lip product I wanted to talk about is from Tarte. So once again, Tarte is milking the Maracuja Juicy Lip line. They just launched a Maracuja Juicy Plumping Lip Oil. I'm curious to know how many products they have as part of this line. I feel like every month we see a new one, but it is available now on Tarte's website for $26. It comes in 23 shades, which is a lot. So there are shimmers and then also high shine finishes. It's kind of funny because the comments online are like, get that sponge tip away from me. That's disgusting. It will be covered in germs. And a lot of brands actually used to do sponge tip applicators for lip products. I feel like Stila and e.l.f. both had lip glosses that you would twist up and they would come out of like a sponge tip. Also Too Faced, they had like their blurred lip products, their melted matte lip products that all came with a sponge tip. There were probably so many other brands that I'm forgetting about, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's such a throwback. I haven't seen anything like that in a little while. Anyway, based on the swatches, it looks like some of these are sheers, some are more pigmented. It's hard to say because pictures online don't always give the full picture. I won't say I'll never try these, but I don't feel like I need to run out and buy them just because I do tend to prefer a good drugstore lip oil. Again, I just did a video on all of my favorites and least favorites. If you want to check it out, I'll link it below. But again, I might try these at some point if they go on sale. They're just not like a run out and buy right away product for me. Actually, speaking of drugstore lip oils, Milani just launched a new shade of their Fruit Fetish lip oil, which a ton of you said this is your absolute favorite when I asked on Instagram, just the formula in general. It is available at Walmart. I didn't see it in store. I was just there yesterday morning. That is like the perfect time to go to Walmart because it was so dead. There was no one in the beauty section. So I was just kind of like browsing, checking out the new products, but I didn't have the new like display at my Walmart. So I did order this product online. I just think it's a really beautiful shade, fun for summer, and I love the Luminoso blush. Oh, actually, they're doing a Luminoso cream blush as well. I don't know if I'll try that or not, but it looks like this display has been seen in some stores. So next time you're at Walmart, definitely check and see if you can find it. But if not, it is online. I'll link it below. Actually, Last Drugstore Lip Oil. This is like a full collection, but they also did a limited edition Jelly Pop lip oil. So there are two existing products that came back, and then the new one is the lip oil. This looks pretty. It actually has a shimmery finish, which is different than their other lip oils that have no shimmer in them. And it has a sheer pink tint and a watermelon scent. I love watermelon scented products. Honestly, that appeals to me so much more than the minty scent they put in their regular line of lip oils. I think watermelon would have been fun to go with for all of them. But I do think it is like a fun limited edition launch. And then they brought back the Dew Primer and the Glow Stick. Why do they keep discontinuing the Jelly Pop Primer? Like, just make it permanent. I'm sure part of it is to kind of create like the need to have it, like it's going to go away, it won't come back, so people buy it. I feel like the Power Grip is similar. I used to like the Jelly Pop just a little bit better, but now I just don't even bother with it, because if it's not going to be around permanently, I don't want to, have to rely on it. I do love that Glow Stick. I actually had that when they launched the collection the first time, and I didn't even like cream products at all, but I fell in love with that one because it applied so beautifully. It gives your skin like this wet looking highlight. It's really, really stunning. So I kind of want to grab that again because I do miss having it. If you want to buy them separately, the primer is 10, the lip oil is 8, and the glow stick is 8, or you can pay $4 extra and get like a limited edition collection on Ulta's website that comes with a little makeup bag as well. e.l.f. also launched a new brow gel. They have a ton of brow gels at this point. I feel like they have like 4 or 5 of them. This one is supposed to be a laminating brow gel. So it retails for $8. It's a strong hold that sculpts, shapes, and sets. Everyone's saying it's a dupe for a Refi brow gel. It does look suspiciously like that, but I don't know. I have one from a K-beauty brand too. I can picture the product. It's like an off-white tube and it has like hints of lime green on it, and I can't think of the brand. It's completely escaping me. So I don't know, maybe other brands do have this sort of packaging as well, but with e.l.f., they're always trying to dupe someone. So I feel like that's probably who they modeled it afterwards. It's a good concept and it looks nice, but I do love a good tinted brow gel. I don't typically go for clear. I just feel like I need like that extra added color to really help define my brows and fill them in a little bit. So if it came in shades, like different shades, I would totally grab it. But I guess because it is meant to give more of a laminated look rather than like a full, thick, fluffy look, this probably wouldn't be for me anyway. Okay, a few new ColourPop launches. They did launch the Precious Metals palette. It retails for $30, no, $35. It's one of their larger 30 pan palettes. I have to say, I'll try to find the video and put it for you on the screen. I was scrolling through Instagram the one day and I saw this video of this palette and it did not feel like ColourPop. It felt like they put so much more effort into like the marketing of this palette compared to other launches, because typically they launch like a photo of the collection and they do reels, but they never look like high produced like this one. Maybe they're trying to kind of position it as like a little bit of a luxe formula, and it did catch my eye, I can't lie. So it's pretty. It's a neutral palette. There's a mix between like warm tones and cool tones. These are shades that I probably have many times over within my collection. I will say I did get this in the mail as PR. I haven't opened it yet because I wasn't sure if I was actually going to use it in a video. I'm actually not opposed to ColourPop's bigger palettes. It's a Mood is one of my favorites. What I like about their larger 30 pan palettes is that they have it laid out in a way where you can just like go down the row and create full looks. So if you're someone who's kind of overwhelmed by larger palettes or you don't know exactly where to start, I would just say follow the row down. And with most of their palettes, that does work. Their larger palettes at least. So I do think it's pretty. I feel like it will fit into the makeup style that a lot of people use day to day. And I like that there is a mix between warm and cooler tones. They also did a few new Jelly Matte shadows. These shades are actually really beautiful. I tried a few Jelly Matte shadows probably like a year or two ago, and I was actually shocked by the formula. For a long time, the formula just didn't jump out at me, and then I finally tried them, and they stayed in place so well. They looked incredibly vibrant on the eyes, and these new shades would just look like liquid metal. They would be so stunning. I also think these would be kind of fun as eyeliner, the silver one especially. Sometimes I want like a good silver eyeliner, so I might try that one. ColourPop also did a Pokemon collection, which I think is super cute. I used to play this on my Game Boy all the time when I was little for like hours and hours. My family lives in the Midwest, my dad's side of the family, so when we would drive out there to Illinois to visit them in the summer, my sister and I would sit in the back seat and just play our Game Boys like the entire way there. So it reminds me of being little. I also did have some of the trading cards, although I never watched the show. I think there are probably movies too. So I do think it's a really cute collection. I feel like it's still popular. Like I still see kids talking about this. So it seems like it would appeal to people who loved it back in the day, but also people who really like it now. And I love that they committed to a colorful theme. They normally do, or they normally play it very safe when it comes to their collabs, but they went full on colorful with this one. And it just fits really well. There's a palette for $30, a little lip mask, which is so cute for 12, some pH lip balms for 12, an ultra glossy lip kit for 27, Super Shock shadows for 9, and some cream blushes for 14. It's really cute, super fun. I love the packaging. It's not something that I personally want, even though it does remind me of being young and childhood and things like that. But I do think it is one of their more unique collabs compared to other things we've seen in the past. Okay, Fenty is coming out with a new tinted sunscreen. I do have the original Hydra Vizor and I do like it. It's over on my vanity right now. I've been using it a little more frequently, although I do feel like it is a slightly thicker, more moisturizing formula. So I almost like it better on days where it's not super hot outside or my skin isn't incredibly oily. But it is nice on its own, like if I'm not wearing a lot of makeup, because I feel like my skin, it's obviously protected, but it also feels really moisturized throughout the day. So I kind of like the idea of a tinted version. It comes in 10 different shades. I think the claims are pretty similar to the original. It claims to boost the skin with moisture, improve elasticity, reduce the appearance of pores and dark spots, and then obviously it gives you like a natural glowing finish with a little bit of coverage. What I like about the Fenty sunscreen is it comes in like a refillable container. So once you use it up, you just purchase the refill. So I think once I use up the one I have, I might grab the refill in a tinted version. Okay, if you gave me 50 guesses and you were like, guess which brand made this palette, I still wouldn't use one of those guesses on Danessa Myricks. I don't know why. I never would have guessed this was a Danessa Myricks palette. Maybe the actual pictures like that they upload or different photos of it in person would be a little bit different, but it just doesn't strike me as something she would do. So this is the Love is Love all over face palette. I know there are mixed opinions when it comes to Pride themed collections. I feel like a lot of them are not really in favor because, you know, we just see an explosion of rainbow capitalism, especially during Pride Month. And the beauty industry has to be one of the areas where it's the most evident. I feel like a lot of brands are doing either like limited edition Pride collections, or they might do like a bestseller and just wrap it up in rainbow packaging. Sometimes brands will donate the money from the sale of those products to like an LGBTQIA plus organization, but sometimes they don't. I don't know if that's happening with this one from Danessa Myricks because there's not a lot of information out yet. As for the actual palette, it's $65, limited edition, definitely a strange design. The actual formula is probably really nice. Like it could definitely be gorgeous and really unique and interesting. I just feel like the wasted space and the layout is weird. It kind of reminds me of like an old school Urban Decay holiday palette. They did these a few times. So there was a comment on Trend Mood. Let me see if I can find it. Someone said, can we get some eyeshadow with our cardboard, please? I just thought that was really funny. Very, very accurate. Again, maybe the formulas will be stunning. It just seems like a little bit of a weird direction to go creatively. Like it doesn't strike me as a Danessa Myricks palette. The product page is up on Sephora's website. So if you want to see more info about this, it says it's an 11 shade multi-chrome all over face palette with 4 unique finishes designed for all skin tones and celebrating LGBTQ plus community and all forms of love. So it doesn't say anything about donating the proceeds. I guess we'll see when she announces it on her own social media. The swatches are pretty, but again, I'm not questioning the formula. It's just like a strange design in my opinion. Okay, I'm just scrolling through Trend Mood to see if there's anything I missed. And this was just posted 15 minutes ago. So it looks like Haus Labs is coming out with a new product. These are the Color Fuse Glassy Blush Balms, which these look really pretty. So it's a new formula. It's a serum-based long wear glassy blush that can be used on the lips and the cheeks. I know they have their powder blushes that so many people love. I still haven't tried those because I didn't love the powder bronzer and I didn't like the powder highlighter. So I just kind of assumed I wouldn't like the powder blush, but maybe I would. I also feel like the colors were maybe a little bit too bold for me personally. I tend to prefer to go with something very, very subtle. These might be a little bit more subtle. So they contain skincare actives like fermented arnica, which they do use in their foundation, goji berry complex, and some other things. It's just basically supposed to be like a very hydrating, dewy, glowy formula. Okay, the swatches look really pretty. They do look pretty intense, but I'm sure they layered them up. I just feel like based on the description of this product, you probably could sheer it out to look a little bit more natural on the skin as well. But on all of the models, there are like a couple of different photos. They do look pretty rich and intense, really, really glowy. The trend mood comments. They're always so funny. I always love reading through the comments to see what people are saying. This person said you could have saved some skincare ingredients and made it $24. The apples on my cheeks don't need this many berries. Again, this was just posted like 15 minutes ago, so there aren't a ton of comments on here. But I do think a lot of people do love Haus Labs. I think the colors are really stunning. Do I need a $34 blush stick? Probably not. I do love a good glowy blush, but I don't know, it's summertime. I feel like I kind of go back and forth. Like sometimes during the summer, I want a super dewy, super glowy cheek product, but sometimes I'm like, that's just not going to stay if it's like 85 degrees and humid. I really thought brands were going to switch back to powder blushes, especially with like the recent NYX Butter Blush launch. I have been wearing powder blush more lately. So I feel like for me personally, it feels like that's the direction I will probably go this summer, especially because powder formulas have just improved so much. The new NYX Butter Blushes are so smooth, so glowy, so long wearing, just really pretty and healthy on the skin. And I feel like I can kind of get that glowy look that I want with a powder blush these days, or just by adding like a little bit of highlighter on top. Okay, I'm actually filming this part on my phone, so the audio might be a little bit off, but I wanted to put this in the video because I was sitting here talking about powder blush, how I thought it was going to be the next big thing, and then I saw this post on Trend Mood while I was editing. So it looks like Kosas is actually coming out with baked blushes. These are coming out on May 21st for $29 each. I feel like these were kind of teased online maybe last year, and then we didn't hear anything about them. And Kosas does have a baked bronzer formula, but this baked blush formula looks better in my opinion. I think the colors are really pretty. There's like a good mix between warm tones and cool tones, some berries, some pinks, some corals. I kind of want to try these out. It's been a little while since I've purchased from Kosas. They don't tend to make a lot of my favorite products, and I know for some people their products do expire fairly quickly, but I do love a good powder blush, a good baked blush. I feel like these remind me a little bit of like Milani or even Essence. I was reading through the comments and somebody said that it reminds them of like Laura Geller or Hourglass. So there are other baked blushes out there, but I think what's appealing about these is the shades. They look really, really pretty, and these definitely appeal to me more than the Haus Labs blushes just because I am kind of going through like a big powder phase right now. So part of me thinks I should just break out some of my older powder blushes, and I probably have shades that are somewhat similar, especially from Milani. I feel like there are a lot of Milani shades, like this center one right here kind of looks like Luminoso. I have another rosy one from Milani, but I did want to bring these up and get your thoughts on them and hear what you think. But anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great weekend. My youngest sister is coming in just to visit, which I'm so excited about. She lives in Florida, so we don't get to see her as often. Thankfully, we get to see her a good amount because we go there, she comes here, but we're just doing a lot of family things this weekend. My nieces have a dance recital. The weather is supposed to be nice, so we'll just be hanging out outside, and I cannot wait. So I hope you guys have a relaxing weekend as well. I'll be back with a new video maybe on Monday, so let me know if there's anything specific you want to see, and I'll see you then. Bye.